Here we go. 2021, 2020 is over. We haven't done a cast since what, November? But
yeah, probably earlier than that.
there's no better time to do one than when you watch the suits on Wall Street collectively shitting their pants over GameStop and AMC. dude, hold on. This is too good. This is too good. All right. Where is it? There we go.
Dude, and the Dow and the S&P and the NASDAQ are all just like crashing right now, too. What, GameStop is the 330? What was it like 2 days ago?
Dude, let's see. A week ago, it was $38. If you go back... Oh, it gets better. Dude, if you go back a week ago, $20. You go back 3 months ago, $11.
Oh my gosh.
Go back a year ago, it was $3.
So you're looking at 1 week ago, right? Or 1 year ago, you said. So in the last year, we're 10x right now. If you bought $3 a year ago.
No, we're 100x.
100x.
If you put in $100, you'd have 10 grand. If you put in $1,000, you'd have 100 grand. If you had $10,000, you'd be a millionaire right now. Oh, dude, they broke the internet. I went on Robinhood this morning because, like, when I first woke up, I looked at my account and was like, oh my god, I'm down like 5%. What is happening? And then as soon as the markets opened, I shot back up to up like 4%. And then I tried to trade, and it was like, no. I just kept getting the spinning wheel on Robin. And it was like, no, you can't. No, you cannot, sir.
I love it. And like, I saw this stuff on Wall Street Bets like 2 days
on Reddit.
ago.
On Reddit, dude.
Yeah.
Look at AMC, dude.
Yeah.
I know, but this is huge. And I got to whisper now. The fiance is working. AMC just a week ago was $2.97. But all the way up to dude, I wish I could be, who is it, Melville? This one company that put like millions, tens of millions of dollars in shorts on it, all just got burned to the ground. They had to take out like a $5 billion loan to cover their losses, dude.
What happens with the margins, dog?
Melville Capital. Oh, Melvin Capital. Excuse me. I don't want to ruin so. Oh, here it is. Wah wah. Wee.
700% rally tracks.
Oh no. Bah, bah, bah. Dude, this is what happens when the ants band together against the fucking grasshoppers, dude. This is absolutely glorious. Dude, did you see what Elon Musk said? He said if it hits 500 a share, he's gonna put it on the side of a rocket ship and send it into space. The logo for GameStop. He said, I'm gonna put it on the side of a rocket ship and blast it into space.
Well, that's the thing though, too, is that Elon's involved with this. He's on Wall Street with these homies.
Bro, he posted, I think 2 days ago, he said game stonk. One word, he posted game stonk. And stonk, I guess, is like a colloquialism used in Wall Street Bets to make people go bullish towards a particular stock. So as soon as he posted that, like 2 days ago, it shot up another like 200% from $100 to over $300.
Dude, crazy.
Dude.
Imagine being like a GameStop employee with stock options right now.
Dude, imagine you're just sitting at home and you're like, yeah, I have like 50 stocks from GameStop that were worth like $15 a year ago. Now I'm sitting on like 25 G's.
So I also just found out a couple days ago. So my grandfather obviously set some stuff up for me. You know this.
Did he buy GameStop?
No. So 3 years ago, 2018, April of 2018, I am visiting him to like grab some stuff out of their basement. And I sit down and talk to him. I'm like, hey man, like I would really like to get in on some Tesla stock. and he kind of quips to me like, well, they don't pay dividends and blah, 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 blah. I was like, you know what? Like, if you would nicely, I would like about like, let's put $10,000 into GameStop, right? Or not GameStop, into Tesla, right? So I didn't know, but until a couple days ago, my uncle, my grandfather both told me that I need to set up a will just in case I die in a car accident because I have assets. So I get a copy of all my statements, right? And my grandfather bought me $10,000 worth of Tesla at the price of like, it was like $48.95 a share, right?
That
And
must
it's
be
now
nice.
$880 a share.
Well, dude, and that's after it split. So like you're even 5x on top of that because it did a 5-to-1 split last year. So that $800 is actually closer to like $3 or $4 grand.
So yeah, needless to say, I gave him a call. I told him, I was like, we should probably sell some of it. Not all of it, but some of it, just so we don't like take a huge loss when it ends up dropping.
I mean, I don't know, man. Even if it drops like 40%, you're still going to be up like more than double.
Well, okay, so let's do the math on that. Hold on, I want to do this math.
I mean, dude, if you sell half of it right now, you'd lock in such astronomical profits and be still playing with the rest on profit alone. Even a third, dude. If you sold like, actually, you could sell 1/5, and that would cover everything and then some, and still have 80% of your initial principal in there. That's just skyrocketing. Oh my god.
Dude. So I bought 206 shares of Tesla in April of 2018, right?
How many shares do you have now? Because like I said, you should have gotten that 5 for 1.
Times 5, right? Now I'm at 1,030 shares, right?
Yeah, so you're at like 900K just about.
Yeah, I'm at 830K over 3 years on just that stock. Dude. Off a $10,000 buy-in, I'm at 830K.
What a charmed life you live. You already were set up for the future. Now you just have a little extra 800K, just boop.
Dude, and it's like I'm now less than 2 years from being able to do all that stuff on my own. So, dude, God help me.
What a charmed life you live, man. helping the youth out there, trying to educate people who keep tinfoil hats on way too tightly, and sitting on 800K worth of fucking Tesla stock.
Dude.
Oh man.
Dude. Yeah. I mean, I can't access it all, but obviously, like, in a couple years, guess who's doing a Vegas run with the boys?
Dude, are we doing the 2-story pool villa in the fucking Palms? Because that's the only way we can do it now.
Oh my god, dude! I don't like it,
bro. It's only 30. It's only 30K a night. That's less than like 1%, dude. Don't even trip.
Dude, when I turn 35, we're having one big party at least. Let's just say that. Maybe not for my birthday because I need to make sure that everything's copacetic and
yeah, dude. We'll do a summertime thing, dude. We'll do a summertime thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right. So
you're just gonna charter a private plane for us. We're all just gonna meet you somewhere in like some city, and we're just all gonna get on a private plane, sipping Dom on the way to landing on top of the hotel because Tesla.
Because Tesla. Let's just go to like. Hope COVID would be done by then, right? So let's just go to EDC like for one last like big huge hurrah, like. Get the Uber helicopter to take us to and from.
Dude, it's so let me let's get into
Wall Street bets.
Wall Street bets. Dude, this is great. I can't even believe it, dude. It's always so fulfilling when the ants overthrow the grasshoppers, dude. Reddit, Wall Street bets. Let's get up in there. Dude, and now like CNET and all these other media are out there. This is an Elon Musk, Tesla, GameStop Ponzi scheme. Like, wow, dude, you guys are really grasping at straws now. Dude, did you guys have to change your pants at least twice already today? Oh, that's what you get, dude. Trying to put on a short, trying to make financial ruin out of a bunch of like people like, well, not like you and me, just like me and me. And then on top of that, when it goes backwards, you have to ask daddy for more money. I lost all my money, daddy. Can you give me another 5 billion? Because, oh no, we fucked it. We fucked ourselves.
Yo, this one dude apparently on the YOLO update gained 7.8 million.
Dude, there's a few. I've been going through it. Let's just for shits and giggles, we'll go through it right now.
Dude, the YOLO updates, it's like
dude, look at this. Look at this one right here. Reddit / Wall Street Bets is a top 20 global hedge fund with 2.9 million followers under management at 6,200 each. Oh my God. This is great.
Not one boring research report in sight.
Oh man.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Ooh, GameStop thread, only 40,000 comments. This has to be good. This has to be good. Oh, dude.
I just got on the rocket. Let's go to the moon.
Dude, I've seen so many references to Valhalla. Oh, and hold on. Where are all the memes? There's all these memes with like, this is Sparta, like hold, don't sell, hold. GameStop YOLO update. Can I get a flare for buying GME at the literal top 155.29? Well, it's not the top anymore. You're about 100% of the way away.
I mean, that's 2 days ago, though.
That's like this morning in pre-market.
Our position market value, 5.9 million. Average cost 7.29 a share. For 20. So this guy put in what, like?
Dude, he
like
put in
a couple
like
100,000.
Yeah, like
and
220, 200.
Yeah, I'm
about 220,000, 200,000 somewhere around there. Just your standard, like, I don't know, however many X. Just a little 3.8 million.
2,902.
Look at this. 3.8 million just today. My overall return, not too bad. I'm doing okay for myself.
What the
See, and there's some good people in the world. $500 donation for every $50 increase in GME. There you go. Power to this guy. Who's this? Posted by YOLO Howla. All right, YOLO Howla. Props to you, brother or sister or there or they. Dude.
calls on GME this morning?
Dude, I'm almost considering buying some calls right now. Dude, Shamath Palihapitiya, who's like a billionaire in his own right. Tell me what to buy tomorrow, and if you convince me, I'll throw 100K at the start. We bought $150 calls on GME this morning. Let's go. Yes, dude. Even the billionaires are throwing middle fingers up to the billionaire hedge funds. That's great. Game stonk. Boop boop.
Dude, that's crazy. I'm gonna go. Dude, imagine just putting in like a couple $100,000 like yesterday or the day before, and just like,
dude,
yo, just be like, yo.
I just envision like, like people talk about hindsight, like I wouldn't have made this decision or that decision. I'd be like, dude, I would have bought like 1,000 Bitcoin when they were 10 cents, and I would have bought like, I don't know, 1,000 shares of GameStop when it was $2.
Yeah.
I've been like, Dad, what's my college fund? Liquidate it. We're gonna put it all on GameStop. What the fuck? You've already disappointed me enough. Winner, 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 chicken parm dinner. Actually, it doesn't even need to be chicken parm anymore. It can be like prime cut Kobe beef mignon dinner. This is insane.
Well, the thing is too is that it said that Melvin they got a bailout, right? Dude, and then they doubled down on their short position. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Dude, they're like, well, my whole house is on fire, so I'm gonna buy the house next door that's only half on fire, and it'll be fine. Oh wait, now both houses have burned to the ground. I better call Daddy for another $5 billion. $5 billion. Wee, dude. I'm not selling until it gets to at least 1,000. Buckle the fuck up, dude. Well, he's halfway there now. This is that was in GameStop. Look at these happy gents, dude. Dude, you know what? I might have a little bit of FOMO that I missed out, but dude, I will give always a thumbs up when the ants overthrow the grasshoppers, dude. This is absolutely beautiful in every sense of the word. All right, let's see where GameStop has gone in the last 15 seconds. Oh, it's consolidated. It's consolidated at $333 after its epic run this morning.
10 a.m. and then
dude, boom! 5 days ago. You could have still gotten on this ride 5 days ago. Oh, dude, this is incredible. Game. This is how you know you've won, when TD Ameritrade, Schwab, and these large institutions are like, time out, 2-minute drill, 2-minute drill.
Well, because they probably have stock in they have investment in Melvin. Like they probably like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If not stock in Melvin, they probably have a little bit of a stake in Melvin. All right, let's take a look at Melvin. How's Melvin doing right now? Melvin Capital. All right, Melvin, what's going on today in your world? Ooh, Melvin Capital on Twitter. This has to be good. This can't be bad, right? What's the worst that we could see? GameStop should buy Melvin Capital. Dude, I was seeing that the person who bought the most shares of, I gotta like that. I'm not gonna sign in right now. Fuck that. I saw that the person who owns the largest stake in GME, if this goes to $1,000, could buy like almost half of Melvin. Melvin Capital. Just buy the whole thing, dude. Just I'll pull the resources and just own it, throw everyone into the trash can, give them their pink slips, and ride their Bugattis into the sunset. Yeah. Look at this. I've been laughing for 10 minutes because apparently Wall Street Bets fucking bodied a hedge fund that was shorting GameStop and now has $2.5 billion bailout. Imagine being the portfolio manager of Melvin Capital and telling your investors all you lost money because of Wall Street Bets. This is the winner. Winner, chicken dinner.
I'm like crying about it so hard.
There they are, dude. Look at this. Look at the Avengers, dude. Here they are. Dude, Elon Musk and Chamath, dude, and Wall Street Bets emoji head. Dude, I have to save this. No, I have to save it. Yeah, this is gonna be my new profile picture on Facebook for sure. Wall Street Bets.
I'm hitting my homie up right now. I'm like, yo, you getting the GME?
Who's this?
My homie Chris. He's like, my homie. He day trades like cryptos with like a bunch of the whales, like on like some forums, like pumping dumb shit. And
speaking of which, dude, Ethereum. I gotta buy more Ethereum because that's gonna be the next ballooner. They use it a lot in the financial sector. Apparently, it's like more secure than Bitcoin, so I may have to dabble in the ether. Ugh, goddamn. Dude, this is better than Christmas.
So I just texted him. I'm like, did you get in on GME this morning? It's like, what's your take on how a single subreddit bodied an entire hedge fund?
Dude, Dr. Parikh Patel. As Ben Graham once said, when billionaire investors are YOLOing on call options for meme stocks, you should invest all your money in the stock market. Oh my goodness. There it is, dude. There's the picture of a fallen titan, dude. Oh, did you put all your millionaires trust funds into shorting options on GME and AMC? That's a bummer, dude. I'm sorry. Retail investors basically shut down a hedge fund. Citadel and Point72 are investing, quote, backstopping 2.5 billion in Melvin Capital, who was Superman short on GameStop. Melvin is down over 30% in 2021. All right.
Hold on. So apparently Chamath just was on CNBC and roasted the shit out of the interviewer. It said it was like a public slaughter. We got to pull that up.
Okay, hold on. YouTube. Let's get that on there.
CNBC Chamath interview.
I'm just going to do CNBC Chamath. This has to be like the number one thing because 38 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Which one should I go? I'll go with this one. All right. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
Fucking ads.
Oh my God, dude. No one cares. I got to wait 15 seconds and watch this person in silence listening to a rap duo. They sound like they're having fun, though. I might want to get on that.
That was actually a decent commercial, actually.
He'd gone long through call options. Chamath Palihapitiya is the CEO of Social Capital. He joins us now on the phone. Chamath, thank you for being here.
Hold on. Can we just take a moment? Look at it. Look at Chamath's face. If that isn't the face of someone who loves sticking middle fingers in the faces of hedge funds and other billionaires, then I don't know what it is, dude. That's the look of someone that you get right before they're about to mollywop you. Like, oh, you think this little guy doesn't know like Muay Thai? I'm gonna beat his ass. And then before you know it, you're like unconscious in the back of a ambulance on your way to the hospital because your neck is broken.
Dude, it's the face of Tosh before we go out of a night of obliteration.
Oh, dude, Tosh has to watch this. Tell him to get to minute 20 or whatever we're at. All right, let's see what's going on here.
I'm good, thanks. So you tweeted yesterday that you bought $115 calls in GameStop. Can you tell me what your position is as of this very moment?
Yeah. Can I tell you a little story before all of that, or no?
Why don't you tell me that first, and then we'll go from there.
So this morning I woke up after spending all last night in Wall Street Bets, reading about all of this stuff.
Wall Street Bets.
Closing out my position this morning, and I wanted to announce that I'm taking all the profits that I made, plus my original position. So I'm going to take $500,000, and I'm going to donate to the Barstool Fund for Small Businesses. But I really want to tell you, beyond the $500,000 donation or the money that I invested, which is not a huge amount in the grand scheme of that stock or the entire market, what I learned, because I think what I learned over the last couple of days is important for everybody that's watching CNBC.
And that is?
I think that what you're seeing is essentially a pushback against the establishment in a really important way. You have a lot of people, and I would encourage anybody who is dismissive of this thing to go into Wall Street Bets and actually just read the forums. And I think that you're going to see...
Dude, look at it go as he talks. Look at the line go as he talks.
A lot of people doing some incredible fundamental diligence on companies, trying to think about long-term value. And in my opinion, many of them are doing as good and frankly, a better job than a lot of hedge fund analysts that I work with. That's number one. The second are a lot of people who believe that, coming out of 2008, what happened was Wall Street took an enormous amount of risk and they left retail as the bag holder. And a lot of these kids were in grade school and high school when that happened. They lost their homes, their parents lost their jobs. And they've always wondered, why did those folks get bailed out for taking enormous amounts of risk and nobody helped and showed up to help my family? And then the third thing is a realization that instead of having idea dinners or, quiet whispered conversations amongst hedge funds in the Hamptons, these kids have the courage to do it transparently in a forum. And I'm not saying all of it is perfect by any means, But I think it takes an enormous amount of faith in the system to be that transparent, to talk about things, and then for each individual to make their own mind up and to do things, whether it's to buy and to sell.
Dude, is there more? I hope there's more. Let's go back and see if there's more.
I think that's it. But I think what he's saying, though, like what he said was like, look, like these kids on Wall Street Bets, right? They're like our age, right? Or maybe even a little bit younger. So like, you know, early 30s, like mid 20s to early 30s, right?
Yeah.
And they were a part of the generation that saw Wall Street fuck up the housing market so much and get bailed out while they lost their homes, like their families lost their homes. And now it's like repayment on that in like small little like Robinhood-esque type, you know, calls on the fucking shorts that these guys are making.
Yeah.
I mean, look, no one can argue that GameStop as a company is fucking like awful.
A dumpster pile.
A dumpster pile, like a dumpster fire. Yeah. Right. Like they cheat like gamer kids too. Right. Into like, okay, I have this massive set of like games I want to return. Oh, here's like $3.60 of store credit for that when it's like 30 games, you know, but they're using this as like, they find that there's like all these shorts on this company, and it's like, no, fuck that. And I also like give massive credit to Chamath as well as Elon for being a part of that. Like, you know, these guys, Elon's the richest man in the fucking world right now, or at least the United States, right?
Yeah.
And he's not being one of the establishment to just like, you know, I'm going to fuck the little guy. He's like, no, I'm going to fuck all the other big guys around me. You know what I mean? And because like, hey, that kind of helps him out a little bit too, right? Because now you have more leverage in the market as far as, you know, being able to do what you need to do. I mean, the guy's a fucking, at least Elon, he's a fucking dreamer, dude. Like the guy wants to go to have like a Mars colony within the next 6 years. And like every other like goal he set up, he's accomplished, right? And so I don't like, Elon might be seen as this weird, eccentric, like billionaire, like Batman type, but the guy like sets a goal and completes it.
Dude,
like,
hold on. New target acquired. Blockbuster. Let's go.
Dude, what is Blockbuster? Didn't they like already like?
Dude, they've been bankrupt and out of business for like 10 years, but maybe there's still a couple of penny shares floating around in the ether of the market, ready to go to the moon. To the moon. Oh my goodness.
On. 1 second.
This is insane.
Dude, Blockbuster wants to get propped up.
Dude. Dude, this morning I just sold a bunch of my other positions and bought a couple dozen of AMC, and I'm already up 20% in the last half an hour. Let's go, AMC. You're next on the list.
Dude, for real.
Dude, this is awesome. The stock market's fun when the big guys are losing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, when the big guys are losing. That's the big thing. I think like this just goes to show that like the ants can take on the grasshoppers, as you say, even if it's like, obviously for Melvin Capital, they got fucked. But for like all these other places, like, you know what I mean? Like when you put in a short, like you're trying to make money by somebody else losing it.
Yep.
You know? And like, I just think it's like the whole market, it's great at some points and like fucked in other ways. But
yeah, that is true.
Elon lurking on the WSP Discord.
Dude, well, you know, he's a billionaire, so he's definitely eccentric, because I don't think he can be a billionaire and not be eccentric in some ways, but it's nice to know he still has some of his roots tied down to the little guys, dude. Let's go to the community. Dude, so what else is new, dude? Besides, Wall Street losing billions today.
I mean, not even that. I mean, you look at the other, like just the Dow, the Nasdaq, S&P, they're all down right now. But like, I have the news on kind of here in the background. But like Biden signing executive orders on oil and gas leases on new land, on federal lands, the prison system. Like, look, I'm not a fan of how Biden does a lot of things sometimes.
Well, I mean, the entirety of like the first half of his political career was spent jumping back and forth and flip-flopping more than someone who wears thongs on the beach.
Dude, right?
Because like,
but
so
yeah. Guy's done in his first week more than Trump did in his 4 years. Like just by executive order. I mean, a lot of that is just flipping a lot of what Trump has done. But like you can see in like the agencies and the heads of the agencies, and like there's like a level of morale boost, right? That like, okay, we're actually doing good again. Like, let's like we have these dreams of being a better country. Let's like do them, right? And I think I give Biden credit for saying, okay, well, I got the House, the Senate by reconciliation, right? But I have the House and the Senate by reconciliation. Let's go get some shit done. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah, but I mean, as we have talked about, I think in the past and lamented on this fact, is it's really toothless if Congress doesn't come up with some meaningful legislation to back it up, because executive orders are basically, it's like the equivalent of J.K. Rowling writing her novels on napkins.
Yeah.
And never taking them to get published. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. And that's what like I had mentioned in our group chat with the Trumpers. But like you can see at least legislatively there's the agenda and the priorities behind that, right? So the priorities in the agenda right now, one is that new COVID relief package, right? 1.9 trillion, right? Getting people the help they need, extending the eviction moratoriums, extending the unemployment, benefits, to really kind of prop up this economy. The 100 million vaccinations in the first 100 days or something like that.
It would have been so much easier to do that if the previous administration had any foresight and like pre-ordered them instead of letting Japan and like Asia buy them all.
And that's the thing though too, is Pfizer and Moderna both offered Trump first right of refusal at the first 200 million doses. So you're looking at 100 million people being vaccinated, boom, within like the first like month, right? First month, we would have
roughly 30% of our population. Then you take into account the other, 20 million Americans that have tested positive that have developed possibly some kind of antibodies. Unfortunately, maybe not so much for those that passed away, but you know what I mean? Yeah. We have almost 40% of our country with some sort of vaccination or antibody defense against this virus. And instead we're not.
Yeah. Well, and so he didn't order them. He had first right of refusal and refused. Like, what executive in their right fucking mind says like, yo, I don't want something that's going to save the lives of my people? Like,
when roughly 80 million of those people don't vote for you, you don't care as much about them. So clearly that's who he was targeting, as much as folks want to pretend like he is one for all Americans. Let's be honest about that.
Well, yeah, but and actually, like, it's funny because the 81 million that voted for Biden are the ones who are probably going to get the fucking vaccine, right?
Light me up.
Like the tin hats on the right-hand side.
Light me up, baby. Give it to me on both arms if you have to.
Yeah, but you have a lot of tin hats on the right-hand side who are like anti-vax and think that freaking Bill Gates is going to put a microchip in them. Like, newsflash, you're carrying something that, like, my Google literally was just listening to me 2 seconds ago, right?
I mean,
They don't need to microchip you.
And
They
even
already have you.
and even if you pretend to be off the grid, you don't think they can triangulate a few satellites and find you in the middle of nowhere, Nova Scotia, in a matter of half an hour?
Well, that and like to even get on. So I have an Android, right? So to even get on and use your app store and do any of that, you need to sign in with your Google account, right? So, but your Google account, if you're doing it the right way, or like the way that makes it, more simple for you, you have all your personal information on there, right? So it's like, yeah, it's a security risk, right? In some ways, but in other ways, they just know everything there is to know about you. You sign into your Facebook, you sign into your, like, whatever apps you're going to be using. They all have data on you, and it compiles this massive amount of metadata for each person, which is stored in huge server farms, one of which was actually built about 60 miles away from me here in Utah. That's got like, I think it's like 100,000 zettabytes or something like that worth of data ability. Yeah, exactly. It's like, holy shit, right? So they don't want to get the vaccines because they think it's this or that and whatever. And there's just so much misinformation going on, and people are fucking scared and not doing what they need to be doing to, like, we're all in this boat together. The tide rise, like, brings all of us up, right? So so let's just bring it back, like, right? Not just necessarily Democrat or Republican, but like, I wasn't a fan of a lot of the things George W. Bush did. I mean, the guy like oversaw the crashing of our economy in 2007 and 2008, right? And like did a whole bunch of other shit, Patriot Act, like our drone program and everything like that. But the guy was at least like decent as far as like, I want to help all Americans, right? Same thing with Obama.
We have to remember that, like, we have to remember that people are not perfect. There is no perfect human being, and the idea that your candidate is perfect or better than another candidate can really mostly be measured by the content of their character, truly, because no president's going to make the right decision, or administration is going to make the right decision on everything all the time. Yeah. But you can see the clear difference specifically in rhetoric when you listen to, a George Bush or a Bill Clinton or a Barack Obama speak versus a Donald Trump. Like, there's no two ways about it. One guy is a megalomaniac who wants to be a dictator because he's run all of his businesses that way, because banks have basically given him money hand over fist to just not default. And as a result of that and the $400 million that his dad gave him, he's become this gigantic, I don't even know what the right word is, but he's not what he's propped up to be. But because he's been given everything his whole life and been put up on this pedestal, he has this idea of himself that is entirely fictitious.
Yeah. Yeah. And so with that said, it's like, dude, I don't mind like old school Republicans. Like my whole family is basically old school Republicans, and they all hate Trump because he doesn't represent what republicanism used to be. He's like his own thing, and he's actually come out and said he's about to start the MAGA party.
Dude, did you see that he's opening up his own Trump office in Florida so that he can continue the will of the American people?
Dude, and all he's doing is just taking donations from like poor people to prop himself up. It's like the history he has with taking funds from his transition team, taking funds from his, foundations, defrauding students in Trump University, like literally taking funds and using them for personal reasons from like illegally. And he hasn't been checked yet. And so I think what's really important, and a lot of people on the right, MAGA people, will say, well, it's divisive for him to go after Trump. I'm just like, no, it's like, what would be bad is not holding Trump accountable, because that just leads to more Trump shit.
Well, how about these like comments from, the cream of the Republican GOP crop, like Lindsey Graham, saying things like, what kind of precedent does it set to go after a president after they've left office? And it's like, well, first of all, Chief, he got impeached while he was still in office. So they didn't go after him after he left office. They're finishing the trial after he left office. But that'd be like saying, oh, I used to work at this bank and then I robbed them and 5 people died. But since I don't work there anymore, you shouldn't go after me, right? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like there's no logic or like reasoning to that at all. But yeah, without access to, that's the other thing too, is I'm all for like, look, if a private company, right, wants to block someone from using their services, they should have full right to do that.
Isn't that what capitalism and the free market is all about? Like you can tell a Christian couple that they can say no to the LGBT community for making a cake, but all of a sudden this is too far.
Yeah, well, and then there's also that line of, I feel like Trumpers think that free speech means that they have a platform to use that speech, and it's like, no, free speech just means you can't get arrested for saying what you're going to say.
Yeah,
right?
and that everyone has the freedom to use a public space for their message, right? Like you couldn't, like, and since these companies are private, you can't just use them for whatever you want. It is in their best interest to make the best decisions for their company, for their investors, for their shareholders, right?
You sign the user agreements, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, the user agreement says you can't incite a seditious riot. Like,
well, and you can't use particular types of speech. Like I would consider myself more left-leaning, and I've been kicked off of Facebook and Twitter before.
There you go. Right? So it's not, here's the thing, is like, it's it's a fine line, but like at the same time, look, if you're gonna go and you have a message to send to people and you want to send it, right, doesn't mean people are gonna listen to you.
Well, at the end of the day, like there's a difference between the platform and the public utility, right? Like a telephone company can't say, no, you can't use your telephone for making horrible phone calls, because they're an entity that's basically funded in part by the government. And you can still make your own website and put whatever information you want on it, but using Amazon Web Services or using Twitter or Facebook, you're using someone else's stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to do what you're going to do, you got to make it on your own. Kind of is what, and what's really funny about the whole Parler thing too is they were using AWS, right? But it wasn't that they were just using AWS. They were using the trial version of AWS, right? It wasn't like they were even paying for it.
Expired. Trial expired.
and so they lost everything, right? And I laugh every time I see another person get arrested for inciting the riot. I'm just like, oh my, like, thank you, right? But what's really sad is that you have like former police officers, a lot of former military members like involved in this, and it's just like, wow, dude, like there's just a level of gullibility there that just is like,
yeah.
Guy we talk to is like always like, enjoy your blinders, and I'm like, dude, like literally I show you things all the time that disprove what you're like saying, like literally written in stone. Like, this is the way it is. Like, here are the facts, basic, like take it for what it is.
Well, and you're met with really poorly done memes from Facebook as a response.
It's just like, it's like arguing with like a 6-year-old child about going to bedtime.
Look,
like,
and there's no,
but like, what relatively is 8:30? Like, it's like, it's 6:30 somewhere, so it's, I don't have to go to bed. And it's like, no, dude, like, fuck.
I think in part it's also, I mean, this is the reaping what we are sowing portion of allowing misinformation to run rampant across the internet, across our news stations, because at the end of the day, yeah, there are some horrible things that Democrats do, and there are some horrible things that Republicans do. And you can track this stuff all the way back to the beginning of the beginning of America, as it were, right? But
Yeah.
there are some things that you can see with your eyes, that you can hear with your ears, that are happening in real time, and you don't need to read about it. You know, you can hear
Yeah.
the former president saying things like shithole countries, or the China virus, or we're going to ban people from these Muslim countries, which ironically had no involvement in 9/11, none of them. But Saudi Arabia was still fine, and they had some financial involvement in 9/11. So it's like,
and murdered a United States-based journalist in Turkey, and then Trump goes and like proverbially sucks a Trojan's dick, right?
and then hands them a bunch of fucking, well, but they buy a bunch of our weapons, you know?
Well, not even that, but like so everybody's like, well, he pulled us out of Iraq and Afghanistan and all that jazz, right? But like,
But he didn't. But he didn't. There's almost the same number of people in Iraq and Afghanistan when he took office as there is now. Like, the number skyrocketed to like 30,000 somewhere in the first couple of years, and now it's back down to where it was when Obama left office. So
yeah, which is like 15 to 20, I think, is where it's at. But I mean, so yeah, so not only that though, but he pulled us out of positions, especially in like the northern Iraqi Syria area.
Yeah, we abandoned the Kurds,
where we were fighting ISIS with the Kurdish people, right? And the Kurds were like our greatest ally, besides maybe Israel, in the Middle East, right?
Yeah,
these guys like fought with us and like died and bled with our veterans, our military, and pulling out, right, and letting a Trojan, Turkey's president and prime minister, just go and murk all of them. Like, literally, we said we gave Turkey the green light to murder our former allies without giving our, like, it's just like, what the fuck?
Oh, and his name is Erdogan.
Erdogan, there you go.
I was just like, that name sounds kind of familiar, but a little bit off. I had to look it up real quick. Yeah, no, it's the cognitive dissonance that exists. And I mean, this goes both ways, right? Because I do think that on the left, there is this horrible slippery slope of basically telling people that anytime you make a mistake, you know, you use the wrong pronoun, you forget this or that you're going to get doxxed and axed from social media, and you're going to be called all sorts of horrible, bigoted names in the book for more than likely just a simple mistake. Like, there are definitely things about what's happening on that side of the aisle that are troubling, if not difficult to stomach. But at the very least, there is an acceptance of the obvious when something is presented in no more than the simplest of terms for you to see right in front of you what's happening. It's not going to be looked at as a, you know, Republican conspiracy, you know?
Yeah. Well, and like, okay, so disagree with me on like President Biden, you know, makes an executive order that halts oil and gas production on federal lands, correct? Right? So you can argue with me the benefits or drawbacks to that, and like how it's maybe screwing over New Mexico's economy right now, because, you know, 80% of their GDP is now coming from, you know, pulling oil, natural gas out of their federal lands, federally owned lands, right? And having those leases, right? And that's fine. Like, you can argue the benefit, like cost benefit analysis to that, right? But
yeah,
when I come back and say, like, you know, the cost benefit analysis here is that we shouldn't be drilling on federal lands, and these jobs that are created by oil and gas industry could also be created by the clean energy sector. And like, you know, you have New Mexico is one of the greatest, you know,
Arizona,
undeveloped land. Like, put a freaking solar farm or some wind turbines out there.
well, that's what you have companies like Orbital Energy doing. Like, Orbital Energy just bought a bunch of land in, I think, Arizona and Texas that's undeveloped, that they're going to use for solar farms. But that's the thing, is like, these are jobs that will last forever, or at least until the sun burns out and wind stops blowing. Whereas oil, there's only a finite amount of it in the ground, and once you dig it all up, there's nothing left.
So we're always going to need oil for certain things, right? So like, having certain levels of plastic, lubricants,
Lubrication, yeah.
right? But we don't have to burn that oil necessarily to consume it, right?
Yeah.
Put that oil in the atmosphere and pollute, right? And so we're always going to need something. It's not like those oil companies are all of a sudden going to go insolvent because we're not doing any drilling,
Yeah.
right? But what we need to do is be putting more money and more funding into creating renewable energy, resources, so we don't have to use it for energy necessarily.
Well, and that pie is so big that these companies that do oil could get involved and take a slice of that pie as well. Like that's the thing, is like as things progress, as things evolve,
you got to hedge your bets. That's a smart thing to do.
And you have to be able to pivot, like sometimes you have to scrap something because like just because you spent a long time making it doesn't mean you should continue to pursue it. For example, a failed relationship. You shouldn't continue to try and make something work when this person's been cheating on you and sleeping with half the city, when you guys are trying to fix a monogamous situation. Like, you just because something took you forever to build it doesn't mean you should just hold on to it until you die, because there are other ways in which you can devote your time and your effort to something that's better in the long run.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, the number of jobs that clean and renewable energy will create will be orders of magnitude more than oil ever could. Yeah. So, maybe the short-term loss for jobs in certain communities, like for the Keystone Pipeline, yeah, okay, there's a few thousand jobs that'll be difficult to stomach for a while, but in 5 years, that'll be water under the bridge when there is 100,000 new jobs within that same area for renewable energy.
Yeah, well, exactly. And so, like, or we have to invest in educational systems where it's like, okay, you have a bunch of coal workers, right? Well, let's take those coal workers and tell them, hey, we're going to pay for you to go learn a new skill, right? In the renewable energy sector, one that is A, safer for you to do, right? And B, that needs to be done for the climate. And now you're going to have a career doing, like, still in the energy sector, but doing something different and more necessary to the nation's needs, right? Yeah. Climate change is a huge deal. Like, it's already almost too late for us. Like, it's well past.
It's too late to only do the green energy switch. We need to start sequestering stuff that's in the atmosphere into our soil again. And the only way to do that is to create more farmland with enough wandering cattle to be able to draw it back in. I watched this documentary, and Woody Harrelson is actually the narrator on Netflix, and they were talking about sequestering and how that's the only way to really fix the atmosphere problem, is because it will take CO2 from the atmosphere and put it back into the soil and into plants.
Yeah, and that's by planting trees. And we can't be just tearing down the rainforests anymore in South America, and trying to plant new corals and new coral reefs where it's like beneficial for them, because like 60% of our oxygen comes from the ocean. Yeah. So being able to pull that carbon out of the ocean as well is a huge deal, as well as out of the air. I think it was Elon Musk even that offered, what was it, like 100 million or something like that?
Yeah, 100 million.
Carbon capture technology.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, trees, boom, and so we can't be tearing down public lands that have trees on them to just, drill oil and stuff like that. So, it's tough. It's going to be a tough transition, but I think it's something we need to do. And if we keep on putting our head in the sand on it, it's not going to do anything for us either. So,
yeah, well, and that's where I think we need to demand more from a Congress that refuses to deal in the gray area, right? They focus on this binary relationship where it has to be my way or the highway, which inevitably stagnates any sort of progress. When you have...
Well, that's messaging in win-loss scenarios, right? Like, someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. And when you're running for an elected position, you're having to show where you won and where you lost to kind of prove that you're worthy again.
No, I know, but I think again that's part of the problem of the political paradigm is that that's the objective. Is it's not necessarily to figure out a way to meet in the middle and move everyone forward a little bit at a time. It's how can I move just my side forward enough so that I can get reelected?
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because eventually it's just folks that are outside of the political spectrum that end up paying the bill.
Exactly.
You know, whether it's a loss of jobs or increased natural disasters because the weather has changed so dramatically, to natural species dying out that used to play pivotal roles in the development of, forest maintenance and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you got on the docket today, my friend, besides watching the collapse of Wall Street?
Well, hopefully not the collapse of Wall Street in general, but collapse of Melvin at least.
And whoever had money in Melvin's pocket, that'd be
I'm hoping I don't. I have to check my tabs, but no, I got an interview today for a new job. I'm not getting the hours I want doing what I'm doing right now, so I gotta find something more steady and regular.
Yeah.
That also pays me a little bit more. So
well,
that's what
dude,
I got.
You got Tesla, bro. What are you talking about? You getting paid just fine, dude.
Sort of, but I don't have access to that money, so it's like I gotta make my own for at least the next 2 years.
Dude, I'm just waiting for AMC to blow up, dude. I just traded out on a bunch of shares early this morning and jumped into AMC, dude. Let's ride it to the moon. Oh man.
Yeah. Cryptos are interesting. My brother-in-law swears by Hex. Made like 115 grand in one day on Hex while up there for Christmas. And
nice, dude. Good for him.
Dude, right? I was like, shit, dude. Like, so we put in like, I think it was like 25 grand original buy-in for like different cryptos, right? And then he had gotten up to like, I think it was like 85 grand in like total like crypto assets, and then like traded a bunch into Hex and like did a bunch of stuff. But then once he traded his Hex, just his Hex went up like 115 grand in one day. It was crazy.
That's crazy. He must have bought like 1 billion shares because Hex is like less than a penny.
Yeah, well, he had like at least a few million shares, I think.
That's crazy.
He loved that. So it was like right after Christmas, or maybe the date. Yeah, it was like right after Christmas when he was doing all that stuff. But 26 or 27 February, and it just like skyrocketed. I got to roll though, dude, because I got to prepare for some things. But as always, it was good talking to you.
All right, brother. Take care, man. And let's go GameStop.
Let's go GameStop and the AMC.
AMC.
Later.